On this episode of the Ear Scouts podcast, we're talking about brand new stuff coming this week to the Magic Kingdom. We have a special guest joining us from the Dizzlist podcast, and we'll be answering your questions about magic bands, dining plans, and the best seat on Guardians of the Galaxy. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Hi-ho, everybody. This is Rob with Ear Scouts, and welcome to the very first ever episode of the Ear Scouts podcast, where we gather around the virtual campfire to talk about Disney World and Disney parks around the world. I'm here with my partner in crime, the other half of Ear Scouts, Eric. Hi-ho, Eric.
Hi-ho, everyone. Thank you so much for being here.
So Eric is going to be keeping up with the live chat over on Patreon. If you'd like to join us live as we record each episode and gain access to exclusive after-party events, head on over to patreon.com/Ear Scouts. I'm also here with Jessica, who is one of our moderators from Patreon and the forum over at earscouts.com. Hi-ho, Jessica.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
So while you don't have to be a nuclear scientist to talk about Disney parks, we're pretty lucky that we have one anyway, because Jessica is, in fact, a nuclear scientist.
Actually, nuclear engineer. A little bit different, but that is my day job. I am a nuclear engineer, and technically I do fire protection engineering for nuclear power plants. So pretty specific. So I am so glad to have a little bit of a side hobby, and Disney and scrapbooking are my two side hobbies.
I feel like if you're a nuclear engineer, that's kind of like halfway to being an Imagineer, right? I mean,
I feel like I'm so close, so close. If only there were nuclear reactors, Disney, I'd be so much better off.
Well, you know, when they built Disney World, they actually got permission as part of the Reedy Creek special district that was created. They were allowed to build an actual nuclear power plant. So you never know.
I never know. One day a career change. It'll be great.
I can see it now. There'd be like the cooling tower with the Mickey ears on either side. I feel like that would be really cool.
If the physics worked for that, we would probably design it that way. That would be cool.
So you could also find Jessica over on her YouTube channel, all about scrapbooking, called Jessica Scraps. So be sure to check out her channel on YouTube. Also with us is Craig, better known to our Patreon family as Quizmaster Craig, because he hosts the trivia portion of our Ear Scouts Jamboree each month. He's also a moderator there and at earscouts.com. Hi-ho, Craig.
Hi-ho, everybody.
So, Craig, you really know your stuff when it comes to Disney World, because you've been going since, what was the year of your first visit?
First was 1979, and I remember watching, or it might have been 78, 70. It was around New Year's, but I remember watching on TV, they broke ground for Epcot while I was there. Even though we were like staying in Daytona, but we did make a day trip up to the Magic Kingdom. I was 16 and just way too cool for it.
That's awesome. And no wonder you are a Disney trivia whiz. That's why we put you in charge of the trivia. So Craig is also an actor who has played some pretty legendary Disney roles on the stage. What's your favorite Disney character that you've played so far?
Oh, gosh. As far as portraying, I'm going to have to go with Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Dark.
Yeah, very dark. Welcome to my world. But no, like playing the villain is so much more fun than playing the good guy in general. And the stage musical has so much more backstory to the character that you can really delve into and get to know who that person is. Because you have to have some kind of empathy, no matter how vile that person is that you're portraying. You have to understand them, too. So that's so much fun.
Because they don't think that they're vile, right? They think that they're
No, of course not.
Yeah. Now that we've said hi-ho to our hosts, let's have a little campfire chat about what we're excited about this week, what's new in the parks, what's new beyond the parks, what's the one thing that you think our listeners need to know about this week. And I'm going to start us out because I'm really excited about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which has its very first night on Friday, August 15th, this Friday. Can you believe it's already not so scary time?
So, it's exciting. I can't believe it's right around the corner. And they start doing Halloween so much earlier now, and that's great for a lot of reasons.
Yes. But I think for a lot of folks, it's like, wow, are we already in Halloween? I wish we were having Halloween weather. We're not quite to the Halloween weather yet, but I think the decorations went up at the Magic Kingdom over the last couple days.
Some of the decorations, yes, we have some pumpkins right now, like on the roofs. So
nice. So spooky season has started, but what I'm excited about are the new things that are coming to Not So Scary this year. Now, most everything is going to be returning favorites, the same different attraction overlays. The main thing that changes every year is the menu, but the big change that I'm excited about this year is actually in Storybook Circus. So in Storybook Circus, they've announced that there are going to be 2 treat trails, which is a different verbiage than they use for trick-or-treat locations. And if you've been to the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland, at California Adventure, they have treat trails. And their treat trails involves, it's a trick-or-treat station, but there's a character that's there at the trick-or-treat station. So it's kind of like a combination character interaction and trick-or-treat spot. And I've been saying forever that that's my favorite thing about Oogie Boogie Bash, and I wish they would bring it to Disney World. Now, they haven't been explicit about what they mean when they say there's going to be 2 treat trails in Storybook Circus, but for last year, for the Very Merry Christmas Party, they really upped what they did in Storybook Circus. They added a whole lot of additional decoration. There was Santa back there. There were activities with kids. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the same this year for Not So Scary. They're going to up the ante and have some characters along with trick-or-treating back there.
Did you go? I mean, you must have gone, obviously, but they had Maleficent and the witch in where the princesses met last year, kind of like a treat trail, and that was really cool. Maybe it's something like that. And I remember thinking this made it so much better, and it just made that treat station like kind of come alive. So if they're doing more of that, I think it'll be great.
And that's essentially kind of what they do at Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor too. I mean, because it's a trick-or-treat station and there's a show. There's like both components.
I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be like the rain, though. You know, like I mean, we cannot have as many like character options as probably like Anaheim, just because last year it was raining like for almost like all the Halloween parties. Like if it happens, it might have to be inside probably.
Well,
That's a good point.
In Storybook Circus, they have that covered area, which is where Santa was. So I would, maybe that's part of what they're thinking. Maybe that's why they wanted it there, because they knew they kind of had a rain location for it. But I'm super excited about Not So Scary. We're going to be going this weekend, and we'll be having a brand new video about this year's party coming out soon. So keep your eye on the YouTube channel.
No more names left. Just send a message. Well, that person was asking, what is considered the best day to go for Not So Scary?
Well, I'm going to be honest. It depends on what you mean by best day. If you mean weather-wise, you want to go as close to Halloween as possible, because that's generally when the weather gets cooler and we have less rain. It's more likely that you're not going to be rained out, but it's also when it's the most expensive. What does everyone else think? What do you think is the best? What's your ideal Not So Scary visit time?
Personally, I'd like to go earlier, just because the crowds are generally less and it's cheaper. And then, Halloween's going to be there when I get home, so.
Yeah, I like to go in September. I like to go in September as kind of the sweet spot for me. It's mid-September. You still get the annual pass holder discount. If you're an annual pass holder, they have discounts on the tickets, but they end at a certain time, so you can only use them on some of the dates. And so that's kind of what I've been done. But also, I do like that it's light a little bit longer, because we went at the very end one time and it was dark at the end of the night, and I just feel like that's just harder to see things. And I know there's a lot of lights and stuff, but seeing the park and it's like seeing the ghosts and all of that is nice to see when it's a little bit lighter. So I really like to go in September. for that reason, which I know is kind of opposite of why a lot of people go to the nighttime events, but I do think it makes a difference.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for Not So Scary. Craig, what are you excited about? What do you want to bring to the virtual campfire this week?
I am really excited about the Beak and Barrel opening up at Magic Kingdom, where the old Pirates, what is it called? Pirates Adventure? No, it wasn't that.
No,
League. Pirates League.
Pirates League.
That's it. Just lost it. Pirates League used to be, so they built this really cool lounge. From what I've seen, from what they've shown, it looks amazing. And they've already started bringing out the drinks that they're planning on serving and some of the food. The one thing they haven't done is the price. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers. It's not going to be too outrageous.
It's going to be Space 220 outrageous. It's going to be Space 220 outrageous, and everyone's going to pay for it. And yeah, it's going to be Space 220 outrageous. And I'm telling you, there's somebody that lives in this household that will pay whatever they put on the menu. John will pay whatever. It could be $1,000 for the drink, and we will be making a reservation to go to the Pirates Lounge. So.
Yep. Well, speaking of reservations, it does open on August 29th, but reservations open up this Thursday on the 14th. So I remember that happened to me to get GO82 when it first opened. I had to kind of wait, but I managed to get it, but I got it on the last day of our vacation, one of the last days of our vacation, and just got lucky. But it's going to be hard to get. Got to get up early for this one.
You're going to definitely want to be getting up early if you want to go soon in the near term when it first opens. I feel like this is the Magic Kingdom version of Oga's Cantina, but not the one here, the one in Anaheim. Because in Anaheim, much like Magic Kingdom, you cannot go somewhere just for a drink. You have to go to a sit-down dining restaurant if you want to have an adult beverage. But Oga's is the one exception to that, where you can make a lounge reservation at Oga's and you can just pop in and have a drink. And that, I feel like, is the template for Beak and Barrel at Magic Kingdom. I know that a lot of folks who enjoy having an adult beverage as part of their park day, that makes Oga's a very popular spot in Anaheim, and I think Beak and Barrel will be the same here. But it's also, go ahead.
It's going to be for families too, though. I mean, it looked like they had some interesting not going to say kids, but mocktails, but kids drinks. I mean, I think it'll be, and I am a Star Wars junkie, and I think Oga's is overrated, and maybe we could do a hot take on that later. But I think the pictures and the menu so far look like it might be better for kids than Oga's is. And I'm always looking, I'm one of those people that thinks Magic Kingdom has to be for families. So they got to keep it to have families. And I think they did that. I'll be interested, whoever gets to go first, to bring it back to the podcast just to see, because it'll be interesting to see if they really did hit that sweet spot. But I don't think Oga's hits that sweet spot. I think Oga's is not for kids as well. The standing tables and the super loud, and it gets kind of raunchy sometimes, in my opinion. And I love it. And don't get me wrong, Star Wars fan, but Magic Kingdom's got to stay kids friendly, and I'm hoping they do that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I never even thought about the fact that standing tables, that was as an odd choice.
It's an odd choice.
If you're going to have a family, you're going to have little ones in there too. Yeah.
And no strollers are allowed in there. No strollers are allowed in Oga's. Just put that in your head too. It's weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, tangent.
No, it's a good thing to think about, and I think that's probably something the Imagineers are definitely thinking about in the Magic Kingdom, because Disneyland is a different beast. It's just such a huge park, and there's so many lands that it does kind of need to cater more to everyone. But I do feel like Magic Kingdom has always been very family focused. This is the family park at Walt Disney World, and I think you're right. They definitely need to make sure that that's a focus there. So, on that note, Jessica, what are you excited about this week?
So I'm going to take it a little bit farther in the year, and they have announced the events for Jollywood Nights. So I know that we talked about this, I think, in one of our jamborees, but Jollywood Nights was, to me, the better of the two Christmas parties. And we went to the first year and we thought, oh, this is okay. But we went last year and John and I had the best time we've ever had. It was just pure Christmas joy. And they're bringing back some of the things that I absolutely loved. And so I just think that if you can get your tickets and you can go, it is worth going to. They're bringing back the ice skating. So for those of you that didn't get to go, they actually, in the middle of, what is that part called in front of the Chinese theater? Does it have a name? I don't know.
I'm sure it does. I just call it that area in front of the Chinese
theater. Okay. That area in front of the Chinese theater, they basically put, and I think it's like fake ice. I don't know what it is, but they had actual like ice skaters doing lifts and turns and jumps. And it was just like this amazing, like you were at a Disney on Ice show. Mickey came out and skated. Then they had singers, and it was just, you could see the kids' eyes, and see, once again, you're seeing the mom and me come out, but you could see the little kids' eyes just wide watching and all of the stuff. And they're bringing that back. And they're also bringing back some of the Latin music. And they had a whole section of Latin dance music doing salsas. They had Jose and Panchito, and they're bringing Miguel from Coco. So like they're doing all of that in one section. And then if you go back to the Tip Top Club, which is back by the Tower of Terror, they do like a nighttime swanky jazz vibe. So it's like all these different dance parties all in one. To me, Jollywood Nights coming back, I was, the first year I was worried they wouldn't bring it back. But when they brought it back last year, they made it even better, and they're bringing it back again. If you haven't been, you just need to try it. Give it a try.
I 1,000% agree that the first year, it was rough. It got better. It definitely got better as it went along. We went again later, and they definitely had figured a lot of things out. But even then, it was night and day compared to the second time they did it. Yeah, they had a lot of time to retool and figure out how to make that event the best it could be.
Now, I went the first year, but I didn't make it last year, and I had a great time. I mean, I'm sure things have definitely improved, but I do remember they had a Latin band, which was great, but they had it right outside of the ABC commissary in that like hallway, and it was so loud. Like the reverb was just insane. You really couldn't enjoy it. Had they moved them, I'm assuming, or I hope?
Yes. They moved them last year. They moved them into Animation Courtyard, which gave you a lot more space for that. Because it was kind of weird the first year. They were in like an alley. There wasn't a lot of room there. It's basically, that's a thoroughfare really more than anything. And so that was an odd placement. But yeah, they moved them. Did it say? I would assume they're going to stay in Animation Courtyard, don't you think, Jessica?
That's a great question, because I don't know when the construction is going to start in Animation Courtyard. So when construction starts there, they're not going to be able to put it there. That was the best place for them to be at. And it was wonderful. So I'm interested to see where they move them to. I'm hoping maybe it's over closer to like Backlot Express and not right in front of that ABC commissary. Like in that spot where the old lightsaber training was, like over there has a good space for it, but in front of ABC commissary there was not enough space. You couldn't really dance. People didn't really get it. Whereas over there in Animation Courtyard, I mean, people got it. I mean, there was a whole salsa dancing, and it was great. So they need to have a bigger space for it. I'm hoping they move it somewhere else. And I think it's wasted space over there next to the AT-AT.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually hoping that when they close down Launch Bay, I'm really hoping that the Darth Vader meet and greet moves into that kind of wasted space.
Because it would never go to Batuu. Because Darth Vader doesn't belong there. Just to remind you. I think there's nothing. I mean, I think from a Jollywood Nights perspective, I mean, I think the characters that they brought out, I mean, it was awesome. So it's a great opportunity to go to a party. And I know they kind of advertise it as an adult a more adult party. And don't get me wrong, you can do a full old-fashioned stroll. Like, you can have 5 different old fashions that night, and they are all good. Not that I did it twice, but you can do it. You could do it, and it's great. But you can also be a little kid and watch ice skating and see Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy have a little moment, and then you can go watch puppets, and you can meet Donald and Daisy together. It's really cool, and Christmas clothes. So much fun. Mary Poppins was there. So it just all kinds of fun stuff. So highly recommend. It is by far the best after hours event I have been to at a Disney World park ever.
Well, we're going to actually, we've gone from Halloween to Christmas, and that's going to be a theme a little bit later in the show. But for right now, we're going to move on to our next segment, which is Scouting News, where we share what's going on in the world of Ear Scouts. We just finished filming 3 videos. We got 3 videos in the can. One's probably going to come out at around the same time as this podcast. We did early entry at Epcot. We did it on Saturday coming in from the front of the park, and then we did it on Sunday coming in from the International Gateway. And the reason we're redoing Epcot relatively soon after we did it not that long ago is because now Test Track is back in its new iteration, and more importantly, in a lot of ways, Guardians of the Galaxy is no longer on that virtual queue. So that has become really, both of those attractions together have shifted the center of gravity at Epcot to World Discovery, especially for early entry. And I think I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but I'm going to say the one that really shocked me was when we did early entry from International Gateway, and we tried it because so many people said, we want to see what happens if you start with Guardians, even though you're coming in from International Gateway. And I'm just going to say that you'd be surprised that it works out as well as it does. That's all I'm going to say. It's not something that you need to immediately discount as an option. Most people, smart money's on going to Remy because it's right there. But Guardians, maybe something you want to consider. So check out that video when it comes out. The other video I'm so excited about, we went to Disneyland for the 70th anniversary, and we made a connection with a gentleman who had remastered the opening day video, the opening day broadcast from ABC when Disneyland opened. And it was a live broadcast on ABC, and they went all over the park. And so he very graciously shared that footage with us. So when we were there on the 70th, we shot as close as we could get to those same spots in the park so that you'll be able to see really how much has changed, but almost more importantly, how much has not really changed that much from the 70th for 70 years. So I'm really excited about that video. And the other thing that I'm excited about is Patreon, because we just added some new tiers. If you've been thinking about checking out our Patreon, it's only $2. $2 to become a patron of Ear Scouts and join our Patreon family. Of course, we also have free stuff over there as well. You don't have to pay anything. You can come and enjoy some free videos. But we're excited about the changes coming to Patreon and our new videos. So that's all headed your way real soon. But right now it's time for a segment we're calling Be Our Guest, where we're going to welcome one of our friends who shares our love of Disney parks. And this week, we are very excited to welcome our friend Rob from the Dizzlist podcast. Hi-ho, Rob.
Hi. I'll start by saying you weren't just introducing yourself. There's a different Rob. So you can all refer to me as Dizzlist Rob, and then we'll have with just regular Rob. Okay. But thank you for having me. This is really, really cool. I host a podcast called The Dizzlist. We've been doing it for a little over 3 years now. I mean, I can go on and on a little bit about it unless you have specific questions. I'm a talker. I'm a teacher, so I can talk all day if you like.
No, we definitely want to hear about the podcast. But first, I want you to tell us, because you have, before the podcast, you kind of
Yes.
have a connection to Disney World that goes way back. Why don't you tell everyone about that?
I do. It's an interesting one. So my father's side of the family all are from Orlando, and my father's cousin Jimmy, his job was to fix the animatronics in the Hall of Presidents. So when Abe Lincoln would keel over or something, they would get Jimmy on the phone and he would come down and fix it. And he was in the military, and he learned he was in the machine shop in the military and would fix things. So he was a great hire for Walt Disney World and could help fix the animatronics. And so growing up, Craig and I were talking about this earlier. He started going in probably 1979. I think I did right around then too. And we would go down to Orlando to visit family, and cousin Jimmy would give my dad tickets, and we would go every year, and sort of built this fascination that I have with Disney World. So that's kind of my fun little connection that I have, and why I have this obsession with the Disney parks.
Well, we all listen to the Dizzlist, so we're so glad that you got that fascination for the Disney parks and you share that with everyone every week. We were talking before that we were all just listening to your recent podcast where it was.
Sometimes they're controversial there, Rob.
I know, because in your recent podcast,
Yeah.
it was what should you skip on
Yes.
your visit to Disney World, and I'm just gonna say my favorite park is Animal Kingdom, and because of all the construction, I get it. There's a lot of construction right now. There's a lot of attractions down. It's a very short attraction list, but you guys recommended just skipping Animal Kingdom, right?
Well, I will tell you this. Pull the curtain back. We went Thursday. I didn't skip it. I had the choice to, and I didn't. I was there Thursday.
That's the way to do it.
I'll circle back around to that. I'll give people a little bit of background of what we do. So it's we are not based in Orlando. So we live in Western New York. We're in Buffalo Bills country here, and my co-host Nick and we are both high school teachers. We have families of 4. Sometimes we travel together. Sometimes we don't. I just recently went on an anniversary trip with my wife, 20 years. So shout out to my wife. Love her very much. And I talked about, so Nick, my co-host, he's a math teacher. I'm an art teacher. We are very different. We are like chocolate and peanut butter, but we work well together. When one of us likes something, the other one usually doesn't. And it's funny. It's not like, angry banter back and forth. But I have one quick story that I always love to share. So years ago, Nick comes to my classroom at school and says, "Hey, we're going to go to Disney World." He hadn't been there, but he went there once when he was really little. He was going to take his family. So I'm going to take my family. We're going to go to Disney World. We're going to go one time. I said, "Yeah, right. Sure." He goes, "Nope, we're going one time. We're going all out. We're going to go here and we're going to do this." And I said, "Sure. You'll be back. We'll see." So he goes on the trip and he comes back with his tail between his legs, and he's not often wrong. So it's kind of fun when he is wrong. He goes, "You were right. It was great, and we bought DVC." So what our show is all about is we do different types of lists. It started off just being top 5. I would give a top 5, and Nick would give a top 5, and we would sort of debate. And, as Rob said, sometimes things that we share can get controversial, and people will talk about it, and that's kind of part of the fun about it. But then we also have expanded it into... since it's the Dizzlist, we will kind of list, like, for example, we just did one that was, we listed all the character breakfasts and what we thought and if we've gone to them or not, and that type of thing. It's not always just top 5. We did a March Madness in March, and we did
That
kind
was
of,
fun.
It was fun, and we had to do, which thank you. We had to put the different rides. So it was all the rides in Epcot, all the Magic Kingdom rides, and then we had to narrow it down to top 4. And you can go back and listen to those. They're great ones.
So you
It
were
was
doing
brackets, right?
right?
Just
For
like
each
the
park.
college basketball tournament. So I'm not going to give it away. Those are great to listen to if you want to go back and listen to those episodes. Few of the rides that are on there are currently closed. That's a little bit of a clue, but we try to do fun stuff. Whenever we get messages from listeners, so a lot of times we'll do shows based on what people say. But I'll end with this. The most recent episode that we did, I'm sure one of you is going to bring this up too. Nick, my co-host, was just in Hawaii last week. He was in Aulani. And he was there when the tsunami warning came across. We were very nervous. We were texting him. I actually think I texted a few of you too, just to let you know what was going on. But Nick was fine. It's a really interesting episode. If you get a chance, listen to that one. You can really hear what it was like being in Hawaii and being at the Aulani Resort. Some things Disney did very well. Some things Nick was not very happy with, so you'll have to tune in and listen to that episode and find out what his thoughts were on that.
I'm excited to hear that episode because Aulani is one resort. I don't know very much about Aulani. I've never been there, and it's been on my list of something I want to check out, but I just don't know much of anything about, beyond that it's a lovely place and it was created by Joe Rohde, that's enough right there for me to say, sign me up, I'm going to go. But I'm very curious to hear about his visit. And obviously he was there at a very momentous time where I'm excited. Well, I don't know if excited is the right word, but I'm very curious to hear. Yeah.
We're just relieved that it had a happy ending. And, he was on the 5th floor and they had to evacuate people from the 1st and 2nd floor. And you can listen to the episode and hear kind of stories of what ended up happening. But it's a whole heck of a lot easier to talk to knowing that he is safe and the rest of the people were. I mean, there was minor flooding, I think he said, on a certain part of the island. But as far as I know, there wasn't any, major damage, so that's good for everybody, not just the people at Aulani. Obviously, the everyone in Hawaii.
For sure. Well, your show is called the Dizzlist, and it's all about creating different lists. And so I thought, since you're a guest on our show, that we would have you create for us. Let's do an impromptu list, and we got 5 people here. So we could each contribute something to the list. Let's put you on the spot. Give us a topic for what our Diz list should be.
Okay. Last week, I was at Disney World. Let's do treats that are under the radar. So can't do turkey leg, can't do the cheeseburger spring roll, Dole Whip, out. So something different that you don't think people would really know about. I'll start. We had a great meal at Skipper Canteen. Actually gave cast compliment to 2 of the cast members there. They did such a great job. We had an appetizer, so I'm going to call that a treat. It wasn't really a meal, and it was something called a cachapa. I don't know if you guys have had those. They are incredible. Craig loves
They're so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Oh, the quickest description, and your mouth is going to be watering here. So it's on a corn pancake. So our family's gluten-free. Nick's family isn't, but I do a lot of gluten-free stuff on our show too. So there's a little gluten-free corn pancake, and then like a green, it's not like a salsa verde, but it's something similar. It has sort of that, it's not super spicy, but then it has this like pork on the top that was just absolutely incredible. We loved it. We loved it. Craig, what are your thoughts on that one?
It is so good. I'm trying to find a picture of it because I know I have several on my phone somewhere. But
it's
Craig
amazing.
was so excited about the cachapas that I think we're gonna literally have to bring his audio level down because he was pumped. He was on it. He couldn't wait to talk about these cachapas. So I've got to go try them now.
Has anyone else had it before? Jessica, Eric?
I'm allergic to pork. So
Oh, okay, that's out.
right.
yeah, so I
Understood.
can't. If you think being gluten free is hard, imagine being allergic to pork. Just saying,
Okay.
not fun.
I have tried them, but
Well,
only
what's your addition to the list then, Jessica?
Yeah.
So
What's
So
your
my-
under the radar?
under the radar, and under the radar is if you go to is it Les Hall in France. A lot of people go there, but the macaron, with the fresh raspberries and the lime cream, and it is, if you want to just have a sweet, not too sweet, kind of sour, has the lime, has the raspberries, and you're having fruit, so it's not that bad for you, right?
Sure.
You have that and a Perrier water, and it's like you're sitting in France, but it's not like the classic baguette or the croissant or even the ice cream that a lot of people get. But that macaron is my favorite thing in Epcot. So
We had it on Wednesday.
Get it-
We had it on Wednesday.
Did you have it on
Jessica.
Wednesday? Yeah, there you
It
go.
was
See,
incredible.
it's incredible, and
Yes, it's my wife's favorite.
yeah, and I'm going to Disneyland in end of September, and I've heard the one in Jolly Holiday is also a good macaron, but I'm going to compare it to that one and let y'all know. But that's my underrated. I think not enough people go there to get that, so that's my perfect one.
Good one.
I've gotten
I
so many
approve.
things there, but I've never tried this macaron. So
I know that's what a lot of people. For some reason I think it gets overlooked because there's so many other decadent chocolate and ham and cheese and all that. And people just overlook it's simple, one little cookie, but it's amazing.
Well, I hope you're all making a Dizzlist on this. I mean, put check marks next to both of these. Eric, do you have anything that you think is flying under the radar that people need to know about? Some treat that you got anything?
So mine, I would say that it's going to be in Hollywood Studios, and I'm going to go to Batu, and it's going to be the blue milk. I'm just kidding. It's going to be the.
We were all like,
I'm just joking. Like that.
I've never had.
I'm going to put in the spot the Ronto wrap. Like any of those, like they are really good. It's a unique thing, and like you have different options, So I really
They
love
have a plant-based breakfast Ronto wrap that's amazing.
had
So
it.
if you're
It is.
plant-based, it's a really good option. It's what I do for breakfast in Hollywood Studios. So the Ronto wrap, I agree with you, Eric. They're great.
But yeah, and I also think that what's under the radar too is there's so many versions of it. I think people maybe you've heard about the Ronto wrap, but there's the Zuki wrap, which is the vegetarian version. There's the breakfast Ronto wrap, and I just learned from you that there is a vegetarian breakfast Ronto wrap. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, it's actually vegan even. It's a vegan, so it's a good option for people. And it's one of the few vegan breakfasts in the park actually that's good.
Great.
Which is your favorite, Eric, of the variations of the Ronto wrap?
I mean, I like them, all of them. I really do. Or I will go with the one that has the sausage and the egg on it. Though, like, yes,
The
the
breakfast.
one.
The breakfast one, that's my favorite too. And whatever sauce they use is really good too. All right, Rob,
Yeah,
do you want to
definitely.
go next? And then we'll finish up with Craig.
You want to tell them to give you extra sauce. They'll give you an extra cup of that sauce, and I always ask for it now because it's the best part. I'm going to go with this is something that we talk about a lot in our videos. So if you've watched our videos, you probably know that this is like one of our guilty pleasures. But if you're not an Ear Scouts viewer, you might not know the cronut at Joffrey's. So Joffrey's is the coffee option around Disney parks. They have Starbucks as well, but I'm a Joffrey's guy. And their pastry case is pretty good, but the croissant donut, I call it a cronut because that's the original name, I think, from the bakery that came up with it in New York. This thing is off the charts delicious. It is very sweet. If you can't do things that are super sweet, you might not love it, but it's just the perfect blend of sweet and rich and decadent. I mean, it's a deep fried croissant turned into a donut. How can that not be delicious? And it's really, really good. So whenever I see it, you won't always find it. It kind of rotates in and out. But if I see that cronut at Joffrey's, that's what I'm getting.
All right, Craig,
All
are
right.
you also doing cachapas? I don't think that counts. I think you have to you have to choose something different for our list. We've got to have 5.
I'm not, but I did find that picture, and I'm still looking at it lovingly. But
so
no,
good.
I want to go. We're going back. We're going back to Animal Kingdom, to the Nomad Lounge, and no, it's not the churros. It's the Bangkok chicken wings.
Nice.
Now, they were called something different the first time I had them. I think they're pretty much the same, but they have this sticky, sweet caramel sauce on it that has fish sauce in it. And remember the first time I looked at the menu and it said nam pla, which I love to cook Thai anyway, so I knew that meant fish sauce. So I thought, oh, they're hiding it because people aren't going to want fish sauce. But I'm telling you, even if it's so good, just try it. Even Rob, Mr. I Hate Seafood, I really would love for you to try it sometime.
I
But
tried it.
just these.
I
Did you try
tried
it?
it. Yes.
Oh, you have tried them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
And you didn't like them.
It's the fish sauce for me. I can't.
Yeah.
I have an aversion to all things. If it swims or it lives in the ocean, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I do have a fairly adventurous palate, especially when it comes to Asian food. But yeah, and then I tried to replicate it at home, and I did a really good job, I have to admit.
Nice.
And I wish
Excellent.
I'd written everything down that I did.
Isn't that funny?
I probably can't do it again.
No, I agree.
Yep.
Nomad Lounge has some really good food, and it's just so hard to get into unless you really are rope. You got to do a rope drop a Nomad Lounge video, because that's almost what you got to do sometimes. So, but I think we've gotten in just a couple times, and we've had the wings both times and liked them.
I think they open at 11, and you kind of have to be right there even to get your name on the list.
Yep. And it's
But
worth rope dropping
totally worth
because
it.
it's everything there is great.
Yeah.
The churros, if you're a gluten-free, especially if you're a gluten-free eater,
Yeah, our whole
those
family is.
churros,
They're excellent.
they're so much better than any even regular churros that you're going to find anywhere, and they're gluten-free. So it's like it's a
It's
win.
funny.
They're
all the way
also
down.
not fried with pork, whereas the places
There you go.
at Coronado and some of the other places, they actually fry their churros, and I can't have them because they share a fryer with the bacon. So I can actually
Interesting.
have the churros at Nomad Lounge, which is really cool too.
Good
So
to
there's
hear.
a lot of reasons to go get those churros.
Nice.
All right, so thank you for the top 5, everyone. And I'll end with a little bit of a plug. If you enjoyed that, please check out the Dizzlist podcast. You can find us on Instagram at DizzlistPod, and we're also on YouTube. We put our episodes on YouTube if you're not a podcast person, you like watching them. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm happy to stay around if you want to throw any questions my way, but I appreciate you
Absolutely.
having me on, and I'm happy to come back anytime you need me or you need someone to not stop talking.
Well, we do need you to not stop talking because I was going to ask if you wouldn't mind joining us for our next segment.
No, I'm happy to.
Awesome. So our next segment is a little something we call Pressed Penny for Your Thoughts. This started over in our Patreon jamborees. So on Patreon, every month, our Ear Scouts tier members, we all get together and we have what we call the Ear Scouts Jamboree. And one of the segments is Press Penny for Your Thoughts, where we just ask people's thoughts on a particular question or topic. And actually, I think Jessica has selected a topic for us this week. Jessica, what is the Press Penny for our thoughts topic?
So the press penny this week came from, I have a couple of friends that are planning a Disney World trips, and they asked me, should we go for Halloween or should we go for Christmas? Because they have kids or they're teachers, so Dizzlist Rob can appreciate this, and they only get a fall break and a Christmas break. Because if you have children, you know summers are no longer free. They are sports and camps. So it's really hard to get a vacation, and plus it's so hot. So they're going to take one vacation a year, maybe one every couple of years to Disney World. And they really want to know, is it better to go at Halloween or is it better to go at Christmas? So I thought that'd be a good topic because a lot of people are starting to think about their trips now and plan that. So I'll just start off with my personal opinion and then you guys can jump in. And although I love both, I prefer Christmas. And I think the reason is every park and every resort has a vibe, has a Christmas vibe. And to me, there's nothing like Hollywood studios and seeing that classic 1950s kind of decorations, and you see all of the lights, and even if you don't go to the Jollywood nights, there's a vibe at Hollywood studios at Christmas. And then you move over to Animal Kingdom and they have the Merry Menagerie, and you have all these beautiful like puppets and the silver and the gold and the blue, and then you just have this really neat kind of festive holiday traditions. And then you go to Epcot and you walk around and you hear the storytellers. And if you haven't taken the time to listen to the storytellers at Epcot, you get this appreciation of what the holidays means to different people. And I mean, I was Italy Witch was making me bawl. I mean, I'm crying at the Italy Witch because it's just this beautiful story of what do the holidays mean to different people and different cultures. Hanukkah and all of the things that you get to see. It's so interesting. Festival of the Holidays is actually my favorite of the festivals because I think it has the most non-food, like it has the most stuff to do. And then Magic Kingdom at Christmas is chef's kiss. I mean, it's what you want to do. So to me, I tell people if you can figure out how to go during Festival of the Holidays specifically is what I tell people. When it's open for Festival of the Holidays, that's what I recommend. So my personal choice to tell people is Christmas holiday season over Halloween. I don't know. Craig, what do you think?
I agree with everything you said. I have a very complicated relationship with Christmas. Partially, my birthday's in December, so even as a kid, it was like, okay, Christmas and my birthday are pretty much the same thing, and I feel cheated. Then when I became an adult, I started going to Disney World like early December, and that was like used to be the best time to go. And this was like back in the 90s and early 2000s because it wasn't as well promoted as it is now. So that was like perfect time to have my birthday celebration was at Mickey's, very happy birthday party that he threw for me a few years ago, for several years anyway.
That's so sweet of him.
I know. He's a good guy. But no, I'm actually just a Halloween person. So, and you did one thing you did mention about the Festival of the Holidays and then not as much food. See, that's a negative for me because like they have the cookies. So I'm type 2 diabetic. So like I can do sweets, but I can't.
And
gorge
Halloween
myself on
is
sweets.
food and wine.
Yeah, at Epcot at least. So even if I'm going to the Halloween party, I'm getting treats. That's still fun. Even if I don't partake in them, I just give them to some kid on the way out.
Well, they have sugar-free. You can get sugar-free. You can get... Okay, well, I was giving you an option. Sorry. But for the other people listening to the podcast, if you're diabetic, you can get sugar-free treats. But you're right. True. I think if you're not a sweet person, the Epcot at Halloween having food and wine is probably a plus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rob? Anything?
Well, I'm gonna come down on the side of Christmas. I'm a Christmas junkie. There was one point in my life where I was moving and I realized that I had more boxes of Christmas decorations than I had of normal possessions. So I am a huge Christmasaholic and I love the holidays at Disney. And I couldn't have said it better than you did, though. You kind of went through Festival of the Holidays is my favorite festival, but I do agree with you, Craig. If you're not interested in having a lot of sugar, you're going to probably just want to skip most of the festival food booths during that festival because it is just a bunch of sugar. But the La Befana, the witch from Italy, agree. I get teary every year, and it's an incredible experience. And the other thing I agree with is that the holidays are pervasive everywhere at Disney during that time of year, whereas with Halloween, it's more limited. There's going to be some Halloween treats everywhere, but in terms of the vibe shift that you get at Christmas, I don't think that really happens as much for Halloween, and especially in the resorts. The one thing I am going to say, though, in terms of budgeting and in terms of crowds, Christmas, it's peak. It's the peak in terms of price and in terms of how busy it is. But that's for a reason. The reason it's peak is because it's the best time to be there. And I tell people, don't let that scare you off. There's a reason people come back every single year at that time of year, and that's why it's so popular, is because it's that good. And I think it's, yeah. And don't sleep on New Year's too. New Year's at Epcot. A lot of people do New Year's at Magic Kingdom. At Epcot, go during the day, make a full day and night out of it if you can. I mean, maybe you want to go back to your resort for a nap somewhere in the middle, but they ring in the new year at each of the countries in the World Showcase during the day. So as their country hits New Year. And some of the countries do a really fun thing with it, especially Japan, because it's Mitsukoshi, the department store from Japan, kind of runs that pavilion, and they gave out like Pocky and kind of had like a little New Year's party in their pavilion. So yeah, don't sleep on New Year's too at Epcot. And the other thing about that too is that I do feel like it's not quite as crazy at New Year's as it is at Christmas. It does slow down a little bit because a lot of people do something else for New Year's. So that could be something, but it's still decorated. Everything is still Christmassy, but it's New Year's. But
so Dizzlist, Rob, can be a tiebreaker here, or are you gonna go with Halloween or Christmas?
I'm going with Halloween. I've been there at Christmas multiple times. I love it. I love Festival of the Holidays. This is a very close one for me. I love both of them. But the reason I'm going to go with Halloween, and I've not been to Mickey's Not So Scary. I feel like I've been there because I go nuts on YouTube and watch every video possible. I love the Haunted Mansion. It's always been my favorite. I love all the extra scary stuff that they do with the Headless Horseman and having the ghost singers and the shovels with the sparks. And I'll just say this quick. I feel like they don't go hard enough with Tower of Terror with the spooky. Like it's, Rob, we rode that recently, and it's such a cool spooky ride that I feel like they should lean into that more. Like it's such a great, like, especially inside of it, it's so similar to the Haunted Mansion that I really feel like Hollywood Studios could go a little harder on Halloween with that. It's so
funny you should say that, Dizzlist, Rob, because they do lean into it, but at Christmas. They lean into it for their Jollywood Nights party.
Huh.
It's like a ghostly.
So freaking cool.
It's very cool. And
you would love Jollywood Nights.
Yeah.
I haven't done that.
I think maybe you need to try Jollywood. It might, but for right now, we are tied up now. We're tied 2-2.
Yeah.
So Eric.
Don't do this to me, please.
Okay, we can remain tied if you don't have an opinion.
Or just flip a coin. So, you can blame the coin if you flip a coin.
I think Rob is going to be surprised about this, but I'm going to go with Christmas. Like, I mean, it's just, for me, Epcot to experience, like, as you said, like the storytellers, it's just being able to go to the resorts. Again, just being able to go to Fort Wilderness, like it's just, it's unique. It's cozy. Christmas does transform people in a good way,
Yes.
Well, there it is. Christmas wins. But was anyone chiming in from Patreon?
Ray said that he's excited to go for Christmas, and that it's making him very excited. So there you go.
Well, if you're not able to be at Disney World and see, we've been talking a lot about Festival of the Holidays and those holiday storytellers. We actually recorded from multiple angles and edited it all together to make it as good as we could possibly make it. The holiday storytellers from last year's festival, and that's all for free on Patreon. So patreon.com/earscouts. You can see all of those holiday storytellers we're talking about for free over there.
The Norway one's my favorite. No one mentioned that. I just want to throw that out. I love the Norway one.
Now that we have come to a definitive answer of Halloween versus Christmas, it's time to move on to the question and answer section of the podcast. So if you would like to get your Disney Parks question answered, you can leave your question as a comment on one of our videos on YouTube, or you can join us at patreon.com/Ear Scouts and ask your question live during an upcoming podcast. While we can't guarantee we're going to be able to answer every question, we're going to do our best to answer as many as we can. So we did pull these questions that we're going to be doing directly from YouTube, from the comments. We get so many questions. Craig, I think you have located a question from one of our comments. What do we got?
Yes, this is from Dallin Haymore, and they ask, why is Row 9 the best on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which also happens to be my favorite ride at the moment. Now, explaining this verbally is going to be a little difficult, but if you've never been on it. But the trains, if you picture the trains, there's 5 cars with 2 rows each, and 2 people can sit in each row. And each of those 5 cars can turn independently. They can spin 360 degrees. Not that they actually spin quickly like teacups during the ride, but they can turn like the Omnimover rides, like the Haunted Mansion. So if you're in row 9, you're in the front row of the last car as you're going through the first part of the ride. Now, before you get to this huge launch, all the cars turn around. So suddenly you're in the back, but your car is turned around and now you're in the front. And since you're in the row 9, the front row of that 5th car, you're in the front going backwards, and you get everything that way. So personally, I'm happy on any one of the 10 rows. As long as I'm there, I'm good. But yeah, 9 definitely gives you the best. And that happened to be, I just happened to be assigned that the first time I rode it. And that was during previews before it even opened to the public. So lucked out. And the best song is September.
Agreed.
You're going to have me back on when we discuss the songs.
I'm gonna add to that answer though, because there's another thing that makes row 9 so great, and that is, if you've ridden a lot of roller coasters, you probably know when you're in that back seat, you get more, especially when you're going around tight curves. Or when you're going down big hills, you get more of the force of the ride in the back of the train. And so while you are in the front of the train for that one pivotal moment, which is great and awesome to be in the front of the train for that moment, for the other moments of the ride, like when you're whisking around the planets and the solar system, and you're in the back seat for that, so you get the maximum kind of feeling out of that those sections of the ride.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think
will
it's
add
a
that,
win-win.
Yeah, that might not be a plus for everyone though.
True.
For
But
me,
yes. If you want to feel that tickle in your stomach when you go around a tight curve, row 9 is your row. And if you don't want that, then maybe you want to look at a different row. But all right, Jessica, do you have a question from YouTube over there?
I do. Sarah asks, Grand Floridian won't have their gingerbread house this year. Where can you go to get that experience? So my personal suggestion is Beach Club has the gingerbread carousel. So where they have all the horses and it actually moves and it's great. But I will say that the Contemporary also had a replica of the castle with Mickey and Minnie. And then Animal Kingdom has gingerbread animals up. My assumption is that this year will be very similar and that they're going to go full force at those other resorts. So Animal Kingdom particularly is kind of one of my favorites because it has the animals with the gingerbread made out of gingerbread, and it also just has kind of a unique, you get a gingerbread treat there that is shaped like a giraffe. The gingerbread cookie is a giraffe instead of a gingerbread man. So even though you're not going to have the classic gingerbread house, which I know is kind of iconic, there are other places you're going to see the gingerbread artists kind of come to life. And I think in even more unique and artistic ways with the carousel or the animals. Boardwalk had something. I think even Wilderness Lodge had something last year. So look for the other resorts to have those. And sleeper hit, they actually replicated the Epcot geodesic dome in the Communicore Plaza for out of gingerbread this last year. No guarantees they'll do that again, but if they do, it did a light show, it had Christmas music, and it was inside, so that was also another kind of cool thing. So even though you won't have the gingerbread house, there's a lot of other places to see those gingerbread artists kind of put their work to show.
Yeah, to clarify, Animal Kingdom Lodge. Yes. And they've been adding a new animal every year. They started with, I think, just the Gingiraffe, and each year they've added a new animal to the mix. So, and you know what else might happen, Jessica, is because there's not going to be a Grand Floridian, either, like you said, everyone's going to up their game a little bit more, or maybe there's going to be something new on the horizon at a different resort. We'll just have to find out.
Yeah, but I can't believe they won't do it somewhere. So
yeah,
it'd be cool.
Awesome. Anybody else have any suggestions for alternatives to gingerbread?
Pretty much any of the deluxe resorts do a really nice display.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I mean, of course, everyone loves the gingerbread house and knows about it, but I think the hidden gem at the Grand Floridian is Easter. The chocolate Easter eggs they do every year are phenomenal. I finally got to see them in person last year, I think.
Yeah, we saw them this year.
They're so good. Beautiful.
And they even have that it's like a little cottage set up in the same spot where the gingerbread house is, and they have special treats there for Easter as well. So, yeah, that's another I feel like that's a little under the radar. So, Eric, do we have, oh no, actually I have a question for you, Eric, here from YouTube. Yes asks, are there PhotoPass photographers out during early entry? And I'm guessing as the photographer of the bunch, you're going to know the answer to that question.
Yes, we do. There are like plenty of photographers during early entry. Actually, like as soon as the park opens, and people who do not have access to early entry, they are going to be able to see the photographers line up, like on Main Street, all the way from the entrance to the partners statue. Now, the people with that have access to Fantasyland, they are going to be able to find the cast members behind the castle, by Sword, and also like Sword in the Stone, and also like again the cast member that is just roaming behind the castle.
So even if you don't have early entry at Magic Kingdom, at least you can get some early photos taken, and that's at all the parks as well, right? I mean, I think I remember seeing some in front of Spaceship Earth when we did early entry at Epcot.
I know for Animal Kingdom, they're definitely at the Tree of Life during early entry, because we've gotten where everyone else was running to Pandora, we got our picture in front of the Tree of Life. So I know for sure, and I'm pretty sure at Hollywood Studios as well. Because is it Willie? Is that the guy that's always in Hollywood Studios right there? Yeah, he was there one morning, and we stopped to make sure we got our picture taken by him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw someone when we were doing early entry from the front. I'm pretty sure I saw someone in front of Spaceship Earth before the park opened. So I think that there's going to be an option of some kind at all the parks. I've got a question right here from Damaris Baraldi. Damaris asks, on the Halloween party day, I will already be inside the park since I have a regular ticket for that day. Can I pick up my wristband at the entrance? Do I need to leave the park? Also, could you share the names of the restaurants where you ate that had gluten-free options? So, first question, you do not have to exit the park to get your wristband. There are going to be locations inside the park where you can pick those up. They will start distributing those wristbands at the same time as they let people in at the front. So I think that's 4 p.m. There's usually one over in front of where Stitch's Great Escape used to be, so across from Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor in Tomorrowland. There's usually one in Fantasyland right there in front of PhilharMagic. Over in Adventureland, it's usually at where Tortuga Tavern is. The one thing I will throw in as a caveat, you might want to consider going up front and waiting there if you want to meet Jack and Sally first thing and you want to be like among the first to get in to meet them. That is typically one of the longest waits of the event to meet Jack and Sally. And because they're at the Town Square Theater, which is right there at the entrance, those folks are just so many of the people who actually line up there early and wait. The reason they're doing it is because they're going to go straight into Town Square Theater, and that line goes from 0 to 2 hours in seconds. So
didn't you do a video last year? Okay.
And especially right now, he's coming with a new look. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of people
lot better.
are going to be super excited, and we're going to see longer lines.
Yes. Yep.
Agree. So if that's important to you, not only do you need to leave the park, you need to leave the park early and probably start waiting in line. I would say at least 30 minutes early, if not an hour early, if you don't want to use up a whole bunch of your party time in that line. Having said that, you're in the park, maybe, you're still going to wait, right? You're just going to wait outside instead of waiting inside. So that's kind of up to you how you want to budget your time. But that's the only thing I would say to think about when you choose where to get your wristband. As for your other question about the names of the restaurants where we had gluten-free, that's going to change every year because the menus change. But having said that, as a general rule, the quick service restaurants where they have a full menu, they will almost always have options that are gluten-free. But it's important that you need to tell them as you're ordering that you want to ask them what's available that's gluten-free and let them know that you need it gluten-free, because it will only be gluten-free if they prepare it on that particular line. That makes sure that it doesn't have contact with other food items. So even if we talk about an item being gluten-free in the video that we do this year, always specify that you need it to be gluten-free so that they will. Yeah, Rob, you want to jump in on that?
Well, message me too. I mean, our whole family has celiac disease and we're gluten-free, and we've eaten at most of the restaurants around Walt Disney World. So go to Dizzlist Pod and shoot me a message. I'm happy to talk more about it.
Yeah. And Craig, do you have another question for us from YouTube?
Yes, this is from Deanna S. And they're asking, do you need a Magic Band to use Lightning Lane Premier Pass if you're not staying at a resort? Now, reminder, Lightning Lane Premier Pass is the all-access Lightning Lane Pass, the very expensive one. Short answer, nope. Basically, if you think about it this way, the Magic Band is just like your key card or even your phone. So you just need some kind of media, whatever you use to get into the park, to scan at the tap points for the lightning lanes. So it's just like any other lightning lane as far as that goes, as far as what you're using to tap in. So easy peasy.
And even if you don't have anything and you're not staying at a resort, when you enter the park, they'll give you a physical, it looks like a little credit card kind of or like a hotel key card. And that you can use that all day as well for any of the Lightning Lane products. All right. Jessica, you have a question for us from YouTube?
Yeah, so this one is, what is the difference between booking a restaurant reservation and a tour or event reservation? And I think there are some tours and events that open at midnight, and it's a little bit different. And what I have found, like Savor the Savannah is a good example. Like I was able to book Savor the Savannah at 2 a.m. the morning instead of at 6 a.m. in the morning. So it's always 60 days. They open up at 60 days. It's always 60 days on if you're staying on property, the first day of your hotel reservation, and then you can book for the extent of your stay. But what I found is the main difference is the time they drop the reservations. Is for restaurants, it's always 6 a.m., maybe give or take 10, 15 minutes, but 6 a.m. is pretty consistent. But with tours and events, you could miss out if you wait till 6 a.m. And so you kind of need to check in the middle of the night sometimes if it's really, really important to you. And that's if it's really, really important to you. Savor the Savannah was the one that was really, really important to us. So that's the one that I, stayed up late and checked and did that. I'm also not sure, and you might know this, Rob, but I think I could have booked Savor the Savannah 2 days into my trip on that first day. It's the same. You can book for the extent of your stay like you can with dining. And it's not 60 days each day.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe it's if you have a date-based multi-day park ticket, that's what you're referring to,
Yeah.
Jessica?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I believe that on your first park day, you can book for the entirety of that park ticket. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm 90% sure that it works that way.
Yeah, so I know that this was actually a question from one of my friends who missed getting one of the events because she got up at 7 and said, how can it all be sold out? And I said, because it was actually the Caring for Giants that she wanted to do. And I said, well, it probably went out at midnight, that morning. So she was checking and didn't understand why she couldn't get it. So that's just if an event is important to you, and during the holidays, the Living with the Land Behind the Seeds Christmas one will be one that you need to stay up till midnight to check. I'm just reminding everybody.
Yep.
Because I missed that one last year, and I was up at midnight 01. So
if you miss it, though, I do have a plug for we don't get any money from this or anything. It's not like a sponsorship, but there's an app called Stakeout. STAKE out. All one word. You can find it on your favorite app store. And the app will essentially send you a push notification if one of the tours or dining reservations that you're looking for comes available during the time period that you specify. The free version just lets you basically check for one thing. So if you're only looking to get, say the Savor the Savannah tour and it's gone, you can do that for free with Stakeout. If you wanted to have it looking for multiple things, then you do have to get the paid version. I got the paid version when we went to Disneyland because it works at both parks, and it was well worth the minimal subscription price. We got everything that we wanted, including Blue Bayou and the 70th anniversary walking tour. So I highly recommend that as an option if you miss out on what you're looking for.
perfect.
I'm going to I've got another question here from YouTube. This one was specifically on our Magic Kingdom Lightning Lane video. So this is going to be a pretty specific question, but in the Magic Kingdom Lightning Lane video, you booked Aladdin just so you had a ride that you could tap in at early, but you also used the standby queue for Jungle Cruise. Why not make Jungle Cruise your first Lightning Lane instead of riding Aladdin just to tap in? I'm just trying to figure out the logic. This is a really great question, and it's not probably obvious why I did what I did. So I want to just go through the logic really quickly. The reason that I did not make Jungle Cruise my first Lightning Lane is because that's one of those really difficult Lightning Lanes to book. And you can only pre-book one of those. You can only get one Tier 1 attraction pre-booked. So by using the standby queue first thing in the morning, I didn't have to worry about booking Jungle Cruise. It wasn't on my list of things I had to book because I was getting in line right when the park opened, and so I could just have a walk on. So that was why I didn't book Jungle Cruise. The reason I booked Aladdin is because I needed an attraction to tap in at close to Jungle Cruise that was going to be quick, so that I could, as soon as you tap in, that unlocks your ability to book multiple Tier 1 attractions. So that's the reason why I did that the way that I did, was so that I have an early ride where I can tap in, and that's going to let me book all those tough-to-book attractions right there in the morning. But I'm also crossing one of those off my list by doing it with a standby queue. And I feel like that's a good approach if you're trying to do everything in one day and you want to take some of the stress off your shoulders. Anybody else have any other suggestions, strategies, tips that you like for using Lightning Lane in the parks?
I think that's right on. I think that's what most of us would do.
Yep.
All right. Craig, what you got?
Okay, here's another one. What places can you do walk-ups at day of? There's a lot. I
So
was
this is
hoping
restaurants we're talking about?
yes,
Yeah.
I'm assuming yes. I was hoping like on the app they would have that kind of filter, but they do like show which ones do have walk-ups when you go to that specific page. But like some of the tough ones to get, like Space 220 Lounge. I believe Geo 82 is doing walk-ups, or not yet. I can't remember.
Last time I checked, they were not yet.
They were not. Okay. I think I'd heard that someone had said they were eventually going to, but it's still new.
That may have changed because it's been a little while. But yeah, they do. They have the desk there to take walk-ups, so I'm assuming it's coming.
Yeah. And I've been actually at Skipper Canteen. I was able to get a walk-up there pretty easily before.
Ohana. I've seen people get walk-ups at Ohana for lunch and dinner with only like a 20-minute wait, which is amazing. I think, to me, it's surprising some of the restaurants that we talk about having such hard time to get reservations 60 days out. You'd be surprised. And they do have that wait time. You can see the wait time for the restaurant sometimes. And the walk-up list is like under 30 minutes. So I would say never give up, never surrender. Just, you should try. If it's a restaurant you really wanted to get into and you didn't get your 60 days reservation, see if it has a walk-up and stock it, because you might be able to get in. I was shocked we got into Ohana and Oga's. Back when Oga's was really hard, Oga's now has a lot of walk-up too.
I have seen it happening in CRT, so yeah.
No.
Cinderella Royal Table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Can we
crazy.
convince John to go to CRT? Let's see. Maybe we'll
I finally went for the first time a couple years ago and had a blast. Something I'd just been putting off. So I've got to do it eventually, and then we went and had a great time.
It's the only restaurant at Magic Kingdom I have not eaten at. I've never eaten at Cinderella's Royal Table. And
It's
podcast party.
gotta do
Podcast
it.
party.
I haven't either.
I've
big
been
podcast
told
party.
you want to do it during fireworks. I've been told that dining at Cinderella's Royal Table during the fireworks is a magical experience. So that's going to be. I'm going to try to time that. So I'm not going to.
I feel like
I'm not
it'd
going
be
to
a
do a
lo-
walk up.
I think it'd be a loud experience, Rob.
That too. I'm guessing it's probably always a loud experience in there. There's probably a lot of echoing in that place. But I do want to throw in a couple of things on this question. Number one, if you want to utilize the walk-up wait list, keep in mind you have to be in a certain radius of the restaurant in order to get on the list. So you'll see availability, but when you try to tap on it, if you're not close enough, it's not going to let you on. So just keep that in mind as you're planning what you're trying to get on the walk-up wait list for, that you're in that neck of the woods. The other one that I think is shocking to a lot of people, because this is probably the hardest reservation to get at Disney Springs, is Homecoming. Art Smith's Homecoming is, especially for brunch, it's like impossible to ever find on the app. Every single time I have gone and asked if there was walk-up, just ask. You don't look on the app, just go up and ask them at the check-in. I've always gotten a table every time.
Us
So,
too.
yep.
And also at Homecoming, they have the Shine Bar outside, and if there's an open stool at the bar, you can take it, and you can order off the full menu. So I've done that a few times too. Chicken biscuits.
Highly recommend Chef Art Smith's Homecoming. And you probably won't find it on a reservation, but you can often get a walk-up. All right, Jessica, what's our next question?
So this one's near and dear to my heart, which is, if we are staying off-site, what is the strategy for Lightning Lane, since we can only do one a day at a time, 3 days in advance? And that's if you're an annual pass holder. But if you have a date-based ticket, you could do more on your first day. But I will say, I personally stay off-site a lot. It saves money. We got hotel points. So my personal opinion is, don't sweat it. You will you need to find the earliest one you can get. Get one that's the earliest one you can get at each park. And then tap in, and you'll be with everybody else at 9 a.m. changing their lightning lanes. Everything is gone. All of the, I could only get it 3 days. They got it 7 days. All of that goes away at 9 a.m. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's doing the same thing. So my personal opinion is, don't stress. I think everybody stresses so much about, oh my gosh, did I get the right 3? Did I do this? And in some ways, I tell people the first one is really the only one that matters. The first one is the one that matters because you can, most of the time, change and play with them. Now, if you have a Frozen, Anna and Elsa obsessed child, don't get Frozen. Get it, even if it's 9 p.m., get Frozen. Don't listen to me. But if you don't, and you can get whatever you can get at 9 a.m., get the 9 a.m. and move on. That's my personal strategy, is get the earliest one you can get, and then don't stress about it. Everybody's going to be at the same. I don't know, Dizzlist Rob, you were just there. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we nailed our Epcot day. We got Ratatouille was our one from tier 1, and then we grabbed, I forgot what our early one was Living with the Land or something quick. So we got it, just like you said, we got like a 9:20 Living with the Land, and as soon as we checked into that one, it opens everything up. And we saw that since we had Ratatouille, Frozen, there weren't any lightning lanes left. Test Track, there weren't any lightning lanes left. We just kept playing the Disney slots and going into modified time, watched Rob's video there and just to refresh how to do it. And all day long, we just kept checking, and we ended up getting everything that we wanted. We even got Test Track. It was like right around the same time we had our meal reservation, and I hit modified time. I got an earlier time for that too. I just grabbed it just so that I had it. Then I could modify the time. It works great. So I'm going to end the same way you did and just say, don't sweat it. Like, grab what you can grab, and then as long as you watch Rob's video here and just get the idea of how you can refresh and hit modify, it just works. It does.
I'm going to share a little secret that I don't always share in videos, and that is that usually when I make a lightning lane video, I don't really care what I initially book 3 days out, because where I really get my first rides is the night before and the morning of, because that's when everyone, especially later in the evening, people are just like, oh, we don't want to get up early in the morning. Let's sleep in. And what do? They go in and they modify their lightning lanes, and they make them later in the day, which means that those early lightning lanes for the biggest attractions come back online. I mean, we always get lucky the night before or the morning of, just because people are changing their plans then. So
I've done it the
agree.
morning of. I don't think I've ever tried the night, but I've always found some at 6 a.m. I'm up. Nobody else is finding those. You just gotta. So many of my friends that are planning Disney trips are so stressed about their first 3, and I'm like, take a breath.
Just be patient.
It's gonna be okay.
Yep.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left for questions this week. But if you still have questions, let us know in the comments of one of our Ear Scouts videos on YouTube, or join us live at patreon.com/Ear Scouts. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can hear the answer if we're able to include it. But finally, before we go, we have one last segment that we're calling Happy Thoughts. We named this segment literally like an hour ago because we were going back and forth between is it going to be pixie dust or is it going to be happy thoughts? We settled on happy thoughts. So this is just a little thing that maybe you want to share this week. Maybe it's a helpful tip or a fun fact about the parks. Just kind of like a little dessert at the end of the podcast. I'm going to get us started with a little fun thing that I learned the other day when I was at Blizzard Beach. Floating around the lazy river at Blizzard Beach, and Kokomo is playing. I'm listening to the lyrics of Kokomo, and he's talking about how it's this beautiful place that's down by the Florida Keys. And I'm like, well, I should go check out Kokomo. It's pretty close. I've never been to Kokomo. So I Google it, and probably Craig is laughing at me because he already knows. He already knows. But Kokomo, for those who don't know, is actually a town in Indiana, and the Kokomo in the song is a fictional place. But if you really want to go to Kokomo, you can go where they filmed the music video for Kokomo, which is, believe it or not, the Grand Floridian Resort at Walt Disney World. So they were not even done building the resort. It was just one of the main buildings was built. And you know how at the Grand Floridian, there's a beach there. And so when they filmed it from that angle, it looked like they were at the beach and there was a hotel behind them. So they were able to film there because it wasn't even open yet. So it was easy for them to bring in, the crew and the crowd and everything and make a music video. So if you want to go to Kokomo, you either need to go to Indiana or you can just go to the Grand Floridian. That's pretty close. Anybody else have some happy thoughts to share at the end of the podcast?
Sure. My happy thought has to do with finding out that Pluto turns 95 this year, which is very happy. But also it's got me thinking, I'm like, well, they're all about the same age. Mickey's going to be 100 soon, right? And I realized, yeah, that's coming up in 2028. So start planning now because that's going to be I bet the parks are going to do great things for that.
That's very fun.
Very excited about that coming up.
All right. Anyone else have some happy thoughts to share at the end of the night?
Well, I've got one that kind of ties in my other hobby, which is there is now a new place on Etsy, scrapsandinkcrafts.etsy.com, and they are branded scrapbook embellishments. I'm showing it to the Patreons, but they now have some of the, like, what I'm going to say is off normal. So like Mary Poppins, they've got Monsters Inc., they've got Judy Hopps. They've got really cool scrapbook embellishments that you don't see normally. So for me to have the ability to get scrapbook embellishments for Disney is huge. So Scraps and Ink Crafts on Etsy. Totally recommend Disney products for scrapbooking if you're like me and scrapbook.
Very cool. Any final happy thoughts before we sign
I
off?
want to jump in, and I would say that today I was lucky enough to be backstage on where the parade takes place, and we learned that the Jiminy Cricket at the end of the Starlight Parade that shows like in the screen, it's unique. It was actually hand drawn. And they just created for Disney World, so that was awesome.
Cool. So when you see Jiminy Cricket at the end, that's the only instance of that Jiminy Cricket. Very cool. You got a happy thought for us, Rob?
I just wanted to end with my happy thought is just a thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you to anyone that's checked out our podcast. And this is just such a cool and open and welcoming community that I'm just so happy to be part of, and I appreciate all of you. It's been great getting to know Jessica and Craig, and this is just great. So thank you to all your people on Patreon, and just again, thanks so much. That's my happy thought to close out.
Well, that's the perfect happy thought to end on, because I want to thank you for being with us, and I want to thank my co-hosts for joining us on this podcast adventure. Our very first podcast is cast. It's done. So thank you all so much for joining us on this first episode. We will be back with a new episode every 2 weeks. So be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Until then, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.